What if I told you that the global economy isn't as free as it seems? That behind every central bank, every interest rate, and every economic recovery lies a quiet form of control, a system so vast, so invisible, that most people never question it. You go to work, get paid, pay your bills, and think that's freedom. But what if the very money you earn is designed to lose value over time? What if inflation isn't a flaw, but a feature? This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's the architecture of modern finance. And today, we're breaking it down. This is World Money Control Revealed, the story of how a handful of institutions gained power over every dollar, euro, and yen on Earth, and what that means for your future. Section 1. Origins. The invention of trust, 1:30 to 3 o'clock. Visual, ancient markets, gold coins, early trade ships. Narrator. Long before Wall Street, before central banks and credit cards, money was simple: metal, shells, or stones that held real value. Gold was the ultimate symbol of trust, rare, tangible, and hard to fake. But as trade grew, carrying gold became impractical. So bankers created paper notes, promises that could be exchanged for gold later. It worked beautifully until people realized that not every promise could be kept. When the first manipulation began printing more paper than there was gold to back it. It was efficient, profitable, and dangerous. And soon, every empire learned the same lesson. Whoever controls the money supply controls everything else. Section 2. The rise. Central banks take the stage, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock visual. 19th century bankers, stock markets, and industrial cities. Narrator. In 1694, the Bank of England became one of the first true central banks, lending money to the government in exchange for power to issue currency. The model spread worldwide. Banks no longer just stored money, they created it through loans, backed by nothing more than trust. Fast forward to 1913, the creation of the U.S. Federal Reserve. It was designed to stabilize the economy, but it quietly shifted power from elected governments to unelected financiers. Now, every dollar in existence was created as debt, owed back with interest. And because all money came from borrowing, the world entered an endless loop. To pay old debts, new ones must always be created. It's not an accident. It's the system. Section 3. The breaking point. The death of gold. 5 o'clock to 6:30 visual. Nixon on television. 1971 announcement. Markets reacting. Narrator. For a while, there was a safety net. The gold standard. Each US dollar could be exchanged for gold, keeping governments accountable. But wars, spending, and greed stretched the system too far. In 1971, President Richard Nixon cut the final link between money and metal. The dollar was no longer backed by gold, only by trust in the government. It was called the Nixon shock. And overnight, the global financial system transformed from tangible value into pure belief. Money became fiat currency, valuable only because the state declared it so. That decision didn't just change America. It changed the entire world. Section 4. Fallout and failed fixes, 6:30 to 8 o'clock visual. 1970s inflation. 2008 crash. 2020 stimulus printing. Narrator. Without gold as a limit, central banks discovered a new superpower. They could print money endlessly. Each crisis, from the oil shocks of the 1970s to the 2008 financial collapse to the pandemic stimulus of 2020, was solved the same way. Create more money, but every dollar printed makes the ones before it worth less. Inflation became a permanent tax on everyone who holds cash, while those who owned assets, like stocks or real estate, got richer. Global debt exploded to over $300 trillion, an amount that can never truly be repaid. And yet, the printing continues. Even fixes like digital banking, quantitative easing, and now central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are not solutions. They're upgrades to the same system of control. Section 5. Modern parallels and repeating patterns. 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock visual. People paying with phones. Cryptocurrency tickers. Inflation headlines. Narrator. In 2020 alone, Over 40% of all US dollars in existence were created in a single year. Think about that. It's no wonder prices are rising, savings are shrinking, and wealth inequality is at historic highs. People turned to crypto, believing it was a way out, decentralized, independent. But even digital currencies faced regulation, surveillance, and integration into the same banking systems they were meant to replace. History isn't repeating, it's upgrading. Conclusion, takeaways, warning, and call to action, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock visual. A spinning globe of money, dissolving into code. Narrator. So what's the truth about world money control? Takeaway 1. The system isn't chaotic, it's coordinated. Money is designed to lose value over time, keeping populations dependent on endless growth. Takeaway 2. Debt is the engine of control. When every dollar is born from borrowing, true freedom becomes mathematically impossible. Takeaway 3. Every time money evolves gold, paper, digital, the power doesn't disappear. It simply moves to new hands. Narrator, quiet, reflective. The question isn't whether the system is rigged, it's whether you're willing to see it. Before you swipe, tap, or transfer your next dollar, ask yourself, who benefits every time you spend, and who controls the code behind your currency? Visual. The globe fades to black. Text appears. Knowledge is power. Narrator. If this opened your eyes, hit like, share it with someone who still believes money is just paper, and subscribe for more deep dives into the systems that run our world.